no
I'm
kidding.
sure.
Um, let's see. I guess I'll start off by telling a story that involves my grandmother that she told me a long time ago. So it's this one's not like paranormally scary per se, but yeah. Um, so my grandmother, I should give family history. We're my grandmother's side of the family is our direct descendants of the Brothers Grimm, and basically she claims that it's been through the family in years. It gets passed down that there's some sort of ESP, like psychic ability, sort of not like being able to move shit with your mind, just being able to know when something bad's about to happen.
Right.
And my grandmother claims to have it, and so my mom had this friend. Her name was Connie. Her dad was completely batshit crazy. At one point, he held her and her mother at gunpoint in a mall,
Mm.
which is because her mother divorced him, and he was crazy about it. And he was obsessed with he was going to take Connie, and he was going to kill the mother. That was his plan or whatever. So he went to jail for that, and this is after he had gotten out of jail. Um, There over, she was Connie's mother was talking to my grandmother about how she got a phone call from him that day, and that they just needed to be near people to make them feel better about it. And basically, he called her and said, "I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna take Connie." And so they went and ate dinner with my grandparents at their house, and they just stayed up like later than normal, like than they normally would. And they were about to leave. She said, "Well, I guess it's time for us to go back to the house." And all of a sudden, my grandmother apparently broke down into tears and started begging her, "Please don't go."
What the fuck?
And she was like, "What? You're acting crazy," because my grandmother's always been like slightly loopy.
Hmm.
And she goes, "You're acting crazy. I'm gonna go back home. We need to go back home. Connie has school tomorrow." And apparently, like my grandmother would not let them leave. She was bawling, and finally, they let about a couple hours pass, and they were ready to go home. And so my grandmother goes, "At least take Jack with you. Jack's my grandpa." So they go, they get to the house, and the door is blown wide open. Like the door was kicked in, and so they call the cops. The cops go in first, and inside there was a knife jabbed through the kitchen table so far that the cop couldn't pull it out. It went completely through the kitchen table, and there was a knife in their pillows, each of their pillows.
What
Oh.
the F?
Oh
What?
man. And did we catch this guy? Is he still out?
I don't know if that guy's still out there, but I know that Connie and her mother moved very, very far away where he would never find them.
Well, I wish Connie and the mother a
Connie,
safe life.
That,
Connie's still
that's
alive.
creepy
She's in
too.
her like 40s, so
What the
Ah, okay.
heck?
yeah.
God dang it,
That was
man.
good. That was good. Two
Yeah.
good stories. Go, go, go.
I was like, oh no. God dang it.
So we have disappearing trampoline ghost. We have table murderer.
Oh, my stories have not even started
I
yet.
I, I imagine so. Table murderer.
That's I guess that's what ties in with why I have so many scary stories is because of like my family and my grandmother.
Would make sense.
It's crazy.
David, you ready for your story? Zach will have to tell one next.
I don't have a story, dude. No joke. I don't have one.
Nothing scary ever
Like
happened.
nothing, like nightmares and stuff, but nothing.
You can tell
And
a
I can't
nightmare.
remember those.
Dreams are perfectly fine. Oh,
Oh, they see that's a sign. I'm not supposed to say anything. I'm just not gonna say anything.
dude, David, did you watch all those Drift Doors scary stories? Did you watch all those Drift Doors like nightmares or whatever Drift Door stuff? No, did you watch all of them though, where he gets to the final story? Oh my god, dude, it's terrifying. He I could tell it, I guess. I mean, I could tell part of it. I didn't happen to me, so I really can't. It'd just be paraphrasing what he said. Basically, he remembered this room.
Hang on.
Zach would have to do that. So basically, in the room that he lived in, they got it from this family that had a miscarriage, and they had bought their baby a bunch of toys, and the family decided, hey, he's a little kid, he can keep the toys, and stuff like that. So apparently, he remembers he didn't like them; they bothered him a lot, so he would move them all around, spin them the opposite way, because he didn't like the way the eyes looked at him. And he said he took like an hour doing this, spinning them all backwards to make sure they weren't looking at him, because they had like a shelf that went all the way around the room. And he said he left the room for a little bit and went out to the kitchen. When he came back, every single toy was staring straight at the door. And so here's the part that is so weird, and it's so like creative if they are made up, that like that then he's either an amazing writer or whatever. So he said one night he remembered not being able to sleep in that room, and he was tossing and turning back and forth. He would look at the walls and see the creepy toy staring at him, so he'd just look back at the other wall. And he said he rolled over and then rolled back and noticed someone standing in the corner of his room.
Why?
And he could tell that she was an old lady, and he described her skin as so white it looked like a dry erase board. And he said the lady just stared at the wall for about an hour, and he was paralyzed with fear. He just kept looking at her, and he couldn't. And he said eventually she turned her head and looked straight at him, and then put a finger up to her mouth and shushed him.
Oh my god.
Then this kid's like, if those stories are true, dude, that kid has had a horrifying life. Like I've never had anything that bad happen to me. I've had some creepy shit, but nothing like that. And so with his mom, who was crazy, she always claimed that the family's haunted by demons, and the demons follow them around. That's generational demons. And he wouldn't tell exactly the whole story. He said it was so terrifying that he didn't want to tell the whole thing. But basically, he said that room, that white room with all the weird toys, had a dark red wood grain door. And he said he was about to walk out of his room one night, and he noticed the wood grain seemed like it was moving. And he said that like every time he would, but it was moving but staying in place at the same time. He would see all the patterns moving, but then when he would try to concentrate on one pattern that was moving, it would disappear and the other side would move. And then he said he stopped trying to concentrate on him, and it formed a face, and then it formed a body, and then it formed a person. And then he said it was just this creepy, evil-looking demon that just stared at him. And basically, he stared at this demon for about 30 minutes, paralyzed with fear. He could not move. And then he said the demon said, "Let me show you something." And he refused to tell him what the demon showed him. Refused to tell what the demon showed him or whatever. But all he gave as an explanation was that it's the type of thing, like, this is going to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. And apparently it did happen.
Oh god. Ugh.
You know what? I am not gonna sleep well tonight. I'm not good with scary things.
I'm
like
okay
scary
with them.
I'm not.
I used
Alright.
to be, but I'm not very good with them anymore.
David, tell a story now. No, you can tell. You'll be fine. I'll sleep perfectly well.
What the F,
Just
JD? I
tell-
don't like your stories at all.
You can just tell a nightmare.
Or Ethan's for
Something
that
that you
matter.
had, like a dream that you had, David. It doesn't have to be scary, I guess. We can just tell stories in general.
Alright, so this one time, there was this girl. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really have any
There was
stories.
this girl. They called her the Twister.
You know what I mean? I'm not a very interesting person. I don't have any-
You could just talk about like a nightmare you had or something.
That's the thing, I don't remember my nightmares.
I'll tell you a nightmare. One time I dreamed that on 31 on Industrial Road, like that my mother and I were driving down the road, and it was flooded. And it was flooded so much that it would like the water level was. I mean, I'm talking like 4 feet.
Holy crap!
I'm talking like above like the ground, like above like the cement, like the pavement and everything. And I mean, and people are like almost like tippy toeing because they're trying to walk, but their toes can barely touch the bottom. And I was thinking, God, this is insane. I was like, what's happening here? And in that same dream, like I immediately like port back to my house. I'm somehow back at my house, and I'm back. And you guys haven't seen it. David might have seen it, but it's in my backyard. There's like a playground, and I'm standing at the very top of it, or the top little walking space, and its area is flooded, and the water has gotten to the point where it's up to my deck, which is really high. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to find my dad. I can't find him. I'm scared. All I know is I'm scared. And it's raining, it's storming, and I can't see it. And all of a sudden, I see this lion come out of my back door of my house. It makes eye contact with me. I'm thinking, well, at least I'll be safe over here. And a lion jumps in the water and starts swimming towards me.
What the f, dude?
And
It's that trash.
it was a lion, like a male lion. It was freaking Simba. It was Mufasa is what it was. And it was like that's how big it was, and all I remember doing was like just like in my frightened stupor, just like scrambling to the very top of my playgrounds where you had to like climb and do some like flipping and stuff, but you eventually get to the top, and I hid up there until eventually the lion got close enough to attack me, and it roared, and all I remember is getting swallowed up by a lion, and
That's not good.
Oh boy.
Jesus.
That was 12. I was 12 years old when I was 12-ish when I had that dream. Another dream was I was in my house and I'd walked up from my base. There's 3 stories. There's basement, middle, and then there's top floor. Okay, I'm walking from the basement to the middle ground, and I'm running away. I'm thinking, I'm running away from something, and I look, and I see it's a Cheshire cat from, say, the Alice in Wonderland thing.
Yeah.
Like the animated one.
This stream is brought to you by Disney.
I know, man. And all I could do, I knew he was chasing me, and I didn't know why. And he was doing that creepy, like, huge, like, crescent moon smile. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, this guy means to do me harm. And so he's chasing me, and I run from middle ground to the top floor. And he's still chasing me, and my dad's in and then I'm trying to find safety, and I see my dad in one of these chairs that's in the middle ground, and because you can look down, and I see my dad just sitting there in a chair, and he's like, "Hey, Ethan." I'm thinking, "Dad, help me." It's like, "Come on down." And I'm thinking, okay, and so I look down and I jump off the top floor onto because it overlooks the middle ground, and so I jump down and I land on the couch. I'm thinking, I survived that. And think I'm dead. Like, this thing's chasing me. I look up, and it was like the Cheshire Cat looks at me, makes eye contact, like it's this huge old grin, and then jumps down, and like he opens his mouth, and then I don't know. It eventually becomes like a chasm, as if I'm inside. If I could explain it, it's like he's jumping at me, and he's getting like bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it's like I see black, and so it's all like as if I got stuck into like an abyss or something. Like he swallowed me in the chair I was hiding behind, and I woke up, and it was not a good.
You can swallow a lot in your dreams.
Yes, apparently. In those 2 in particular, I got attacked.
Dude, I get bit a lot in my dreams.
Yeah.
I just never realized that. Like by snakes in general. Weird. I don't know how to.
Oh shit!
1 second.
Oh, God.
Zombie started attacking.
Everybody run!
No!
Run! Everybody run!
Oh!
Oh, come on.
Zach!
You gotta be kidding me. Oh my.
Dude, what the?
Why? What are you?
Make it again! I thought I was on gun!
We are all dead. You killed all of us.
Zach,
Everybody died.
the fuck? Why?
Why?
I killed the zombie. There was